We had the Attorney General Eric Holder in the region on Tuesday announcing this launching of criminal and civil investigations. John King, what kind of charges conceivably could they be looking at?
Well, a number of things. Number one, if they did not keep on hand, and the CEO, Tony Hayward, has said they did not have the tools in their toolbox that they needed when this happened. There will be a question of whether does federal law and the plan they filed with the government require them to have those tools on hand? Were they negligent in that regard? And then if you read some of the documents that have been submitted to Congress already in its investigation, there is no doubt that in the 48 hours beforehand, and especially in the 4 to 6 hours before the explosion, a lot of people on the deck were saying the pressure readings are getting worse. We need to shut this down. There's something wrong. And one of the questions is, did the BP senior officials, this project was over budget and behind schedule, was there pressure to get it done where they ignored the warning signs and kept going after being told by people, we have a problem, we need to shut it down? So essentially, did they wait too long to throw that switch on the blowout preventer, and was the pressure already too high for the blowout preventer to do what it is supposed to do? It is the one failsafe, and it is a mile deep under the water, and it was supposed to shut this down if they had a problem. When they threw the switch, it didn't work. When they threw the backup switch, the battery was dead, and that didn't work. So a whole host of questions. Number one, did they have everything they were required by their own safety plan to have on the scene? That's one question. And the other question when it comes to a negligence issue is when they were told we have a problem, did they ignore that?
John Dickerson, they've had their CEO out talking to reporters appearing on television. How is BP doing, do you think, in answering people's questions and presenting their side of things?
It's not going well. I mean, it can't go well. They're the ones in charge of this hole in the ground that's spewing oil, and every time they try, it fails. Now, it's a very complicated thing, but if people want this thing shut off, they're in charge of shutting it off. It's not going to. And then there have been some misstatements. The CEO of BP saying, "I want my life back." That's not good in a situation in which not only are people's livelihoods being destroyed by the minute in the region, but of course in a situation where you've had 11 dead. One of the other things that Holder will be looking into is not only everything John mentioned, but there are also all of the Clean Water Act, there's the Migratory Bird Act, there are all of these statutes that may have been broken. And then most interestingly is the fraud that may have come after the accident happened or after the disaster started in terms of false statements. You've had the president essentially say BP misled him and the administration. You could argue perhaps prejudicing the case by saying, they lied at various turns. And that's part of what Holder's looking into as well.